The night before her wedding was supposed to be the happiest night of her life, but for Ava Collins, it was the night everything shattered. She stood by the window of her New York apartment, watching the city lights blur into the rain, clutching a bouquet she would never walk down the aisle with. Just hours earlier, she had discovered the unthinkable. In the aftermath of that night, Ava simply disappeared. She sold everything she owned, left the bustling city behind, and moved to a quiet, small town in Oregon. There, she built a new life, a simple one, working as a children's art teacher. She slowly taught herself to smile again, even though the cracks in her heart never fully mended. 5 years passed. The seasons changed, the world moved on, but some wounds refused to fade completely. Then, one rainy afternoon, a knock echoed through her classroom door. When Ava opened it, her breath hitched in her throat. There stood Daniel. He was older now, his features sharper, but those same blue eyes still held the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. And standing beside him were 2 small children, twins, a boy and a girl, no older than 4. "Ava," he said, his voice quiet, almost a whisper, "we need to talk." For a moment she couldn't breathe. A tidal wave of memories crashed over her thighs. The betrayal, the suffocating heartbreak. She looked down at the twins, at their golden hair and their wide, curious eyes, and a chilling realization washed over her. They looked nothing like Chloe, but they looked everything like him. Her voice trembled as she finally found the words. "Why are you here, Daniel?" He hesitated, his gaze dropping to the floor for a second before meeting hers again. "Because Chloe's gone." Ava froze, the words hanging in the air. "Gone," she repeated, disbelieving. "She left," he whispered, the sound barely audible over the patter of rain. 4 years ago, she couldn't handle being a mother. "I tried to find her, but she didn't want to be found." Ava felt her chest tighten, a familiar ache spreading through her. A part of her wanted to scream, to unleash 5 years of pent-up anger and hate. But looking at those 2 innocent children, clinging to their father's legs, broke her heart all over again in a way she never expected. Daniel's voice cracked for the first time, a flicker of the vulnerability she once knew. "They have no one else, Ava. I didn't know who else to turn to." Silence filled the small classroom, thick with unspoken history. The twins peered up at her, their expressions a mix of shyness and curiosity. As Ava looked into their eyes, she saw the same softness, the same warmth that she had once fallen so deeply in love with. In that instant, she didn't see Daniel, the man who had shattered her world. She saw a father, desperate and lost, trying to make things right. And she saw 2 children who carried none of the blame for the sins of their parents. Taking a slow, steadying breath, she stepped back from the doorway. "Bring them in." Over the next few weeks, something strange and unexpected began to happen. The bitterness that had been her constant companion for 5 years started to recede. She taught the children how to paint vibrant sunsets and silly animals, how to laugh from their bellies, and how to dream big dreams. They filled the quiet corners of her small home with a kind of joy she thought she had lost forever. Daniel was a constant presence, visiting often. He helped with school pickups and took his turn reading bedtime stories. At first, it was painfully awkward, a minefield of shared memories and unresolved pain. But as time went on, Ava began to see a change in him. It was a humility she'd never witnessed before, a deep, profound regret, and a love that wasn't selfish or fleeting, but steady and patient. One evening, after the twins had drifted off to sleep on the couch, nestled between pillows, Daniel finally broke the comfortable silence. "I never stopped loving you," he confessed, his voice soft in the dim light. "Not for a single day. What Chloe and I did, it destroyed us both. But losing you, Ava, that destroyed me." Ava turned away, unable to meet his gaze, as tears welled in her eyes. "You don't get to say that now," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "Not after everything." "I know," he said, his own voice heavy, "and I don't expect your forgiveness. But if you can't forgive me, at least forgive them for being born into my mistakes." That night, Ava cried, but for the first time in years, they weren't tears of pain. They were tears of release. She realized something profound. The past can never be erased, but maybe, just maybe, it can be healed. Months drifted by, turning into a new season. Daniel never left again. He became a fixture in their lives, a part of their daily rhythm. He helped the twins with their homework, fixed the leaky faucet in her kitchen, and stayed late after dinner, just to talk.